Why would a man who has all the wealth he could possibly want, all the luxury, the health, the friends, the influence that people long for, why would such a man shove all that to the side and make it his facade and identify with a new name, character, and life? Tune in to find out. Welcome everybody to another episode on the Catholic Quest YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about Bruce Wayne, Batman, and the problem of evil. In the opening, I was talking about Bruce Wayne. He has everything he could ever want, yet he doesn't care about any of it. He could live a comfortable life, breakfast ready for when he wakes up, prepared by Alfred, his butler. Instead, sleep has become an afterthought. As he says in the Batman, 2 years of nights have turned me into a nocturnal animal. He hardly even cares about his well-being. Sure, there's the trauma of his past, of course. Bruce as a kid watches in horror as his parents are killed in an alley. That's not where the story ends, though. Evil doesn't stop. Evil doesn't even sleep. Bruce was exposed to terrible evil at a young age. That only highlighted what he was sheltered from. He went from living a life of love and luxury to living a life that will forever bear the scar of a terrible moment. In his case, I doubt the wound ever even healed in the first place. But like I said, it doesn't stop there. No doubt he grew up seeing the catastrophic impact of crime on Gotham City. How many more kids were orphaned? How many robberies? How many widowed over a few dollars? How many politicians turned a blind eye for the right price? Drugs, illegal weapons, blackmail. On and on the list goes. He probably saw it all. You know, not that long ago, I watched The Sound of Freedom. The abuse that some people go through. Children, even. The movie does enough to evoke anger, sadness, hope, and many other emotions, without showing you anything graphic. It's based on a true story, while Batman, of course, is a fictional character. But my point is that such vile evil will instinctively drive a desire for justice. A desire to put an end to injustice. I suspect that's what Bruce Wayne felt. Whether or not he's pursuing justice in an appropriate fashion is another question altogether. But that's not what I'm focused on here. I'm just thinking about what would drive a man to dedicate his whole life to fighting crime and giving up his comfortable life. It's not unlike Tim Ballard, a real-life hero who rescued children from men and women. Quite frankly, it is not surprising that this is what Bruce Wayne ended up doing. Tim Ballard was willing to give up a comfortable life to fight grave evil. Bruce Wayne seems to have been willing to do the same. They were capable of taking on the job, and so they did. So what do we do with the problem of evil? Some argue that the mere existence of moral evil is enough to discredit the existence of God, at least a good God. Those people would be mistaken. Christians do not believe in a God who must not allow any evil. We do believe that he is good nonetheless. In fact, the Catholic claim would be as follows. The fact that God permits physical and even moral evil is a mystery that God illuminates by his Son Jesus Christ, who died and rose to vanquish evil. Faith gives us the certainty that God would not permit an evil if he did not cause a good to come from that very evil, by ways that we shall fully know only in eternal life. That's a direct quote from the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 324. The Catholic claim is that God would not permit evil if he were unable to bring good out of it, even if we do not always know how he does that. It is not far-fetched to say that I might not know how the infinite God is capable of bringing good out of certain evils, but that he does, I am certain. He is far beyond my complete understanding, and so this does not surprise me. But we still have to deal with why God permits evil in the first place. Why bring good out of evil when you could just prevent the evil? If you're wondering that, it's a good question. Simply put, the good of human free will is one that is so good that God didn't will to create a world without it. Unfortunately, such free will is often abused. Still, the goodness of such an attribute is far beyond any evil that we can conjure up. In fact, humanity did commit the worst possible evil we could possibly think of, our abuse of freedom resulted in the gravest evil imaginable, and all our sinful actions participated. Of course, I am talking about the crucifixion of Jesus. And yet, despite our abuse of free will, that event resulted in the greatest good which we would never have even imagined. Our fallen humanity was redeemed. While we sought to bring down God, God instead brought us up to Him. And that's all I need to get across to show that God can bring the greatest good out of the greatest evil. So why would it be far-fetched to claim that He's bringing good out of every infringement? In fact, it really is the only logical conclusion. But where do we get this idea from? And would it be okay to do evil so that good may come of it? Well, we could answer that just by reading Romans chapter 3, verse 3 through 8. St. Paul writes, talking about the Jews, "What if some were unfaithful? Will their infidelity nullify the fidelity of God? Of course not. God must be true, though every human being is a liar. As it is written, that you may be justified in your words and conquer when you are judged. But if our wickedness provides proof of God's righteousness, what can we say? Is God unjust, humanly speaking, to inflict His wrath? Of course not, for how else is God to judge the world? But if God's truth rebounds to His glory through my falsehood, why am I still being condemned as a sinner? And why not say, as we are accused, and as some claim we say, that we should do evil that good may come of it? Their penalty is what they deserve." Honestly, and this isn't meant to be proof of anything, but if God didn't exist, then evil wins. Because without God, how many people would get away with horrendous attacks on fellow human beings? Our penal system doesn't catch everyone, and even if it did, it doesn't do a perfect job of achieving justice. And so an unrepentant murderer would skip away into the sunset and will die a peaceful death. And then nothing. No one receives justice. At least with God, one can trust that justice is being enacted, one way or another. And that in no way is in conflict with God's mercy either. No doubt I'd need to show you that God exists, of course. I believe that there are ways to come to that conclusion, but perhaps that would be best left for another video. It would stretch this video out far too long if I went over all that I would like to touch upon regarding this topic. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your friends and family if you believe that they would benefit. And remember, open up the door when Christ comes knocking. Bye-bye.